Hey everybody, Sean Dodson with The Flip Side, and this is your Weekend Update. Well folks, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, and let's get right to it. Starting off with the Gypsy's Kiss, you know, the Tipsy Gypsies. Well, last week we got to meet Shannon Utz, you know, the Odious Soul. We got to meet her for the first time. It was very interesting speaking with her, getting to know a little bit about her and her fiancé Steve, and also, you know, getting her opinion on different things in the chase. She's put out some really good videos these last couple weeks, and I'll talk about those later. But also, when Shannon was there, we also got to talk about what we think that secret item in the chest may be that Forrest Fenn hasn't really talked about and doesn't want to talk about that. There's some interesting discussion about that. I suggest you go check it out. And this week, for our special guest, we got to meet Marshall Moyle, you know, the filmmaker behind Seeking the Chase. And we got to kind of pick his brain on his filmmaking styles and got some good tips, you know, especially for me, you know, with the audio. I need to work on that, I know. But we also got to talk about Forrest Fenn's quote-unquote gut feeling and what we thought that meant, and what our gut feeling is for this year. And the Gypsies also this week did an interesting show about the 10 questions list to determine if a Forrest Fenn treasure solution is viable. You know, it seems pretty familiar to me. I think I've heard that before floating around. You might go check it out. It's an interesting video. But they also had a couple of book clubs last week. One talking about the chapter, My Brother Being Skippy, and the other being The Long Ride Home. Definitely some interesting discussion in there, and you should go check it out. The Gypsies also did a video about calculating gas mileage, and you might go check that one out. Now moving over to Mike Cowlings, you know, Cow Lazars, or Coin Lazars. He had a couple of vlogs, number 84 and 85, about the 1-2-3 auction. And if you're not familiar with, the 1-2-3 auction is Mike has gotten together with Sasha, and they are auctioning off the number one of 250 of the Fenbury 3 maps, and these are all autographed by Forrest Fenn himself. But included in that auction too is the number 2 coin of his first round of coins that came out for the Forrest Fenn coin, and also all 3 books signed by Forrest Fenn, that is The Thrill of the Chase, Too Far to Walk, and Once Upon a While. Now, he hasn't put this actual auction out, and I just talked to Mike just recently about this. He's waiting for those books to come back from Forrest Fenn signed so they can put the auction up. So stay tuned, and Mike will be telling us about that. Now, Mike also, with Sasha's help, has put together his website, which is www.cowlazars.com, and that is spelled COWLAZARS.com. And this website, he's put together a little bit of forum in there, and you can also go buy individual or multiple coins there. And you can also buy a t-shirt with his logo and mugs. There's a couple of different mugs on there as well. You might go check it out. There's definitely some interesting stuff, and people are talking on his little forum right now just about coin swaps. But there's also a Thrill of the Chase forum in there that you can start chatting with people and talking about, you know, chase-related stuff. And there was also a number 86 vlog that Mike put out there about the coins are here, and it shows him doing some packaging of the coins and stuff. You might go check that out. Kind of interesting. Now, moving right along over to Dal Neitzel's site, there was the new contest came out. It's kind of a revamp of one he did a few years ago called Personality Galore, and it is a hat contest. And he's got about 4 pages of different images that people are putting into the hat contest. I suggest you go check it out. There's some pretty good you know, entries in there already. Digging Gypsies, I definitely like yours. And now Forrest Fenn also on Dal Neitzel's site put out a search prepared thread from Forrest Fenn. And again, Forrest Fenn goes in there again about talking about, you know, searching prepared and what to bring and when you should be going out. Definitely something that we all should go and read, coming from, you know, Papa Smurf himself. So And then there was also several new searcher stories and threads that were put up by Dal Neitzel on there that I suggest you go check out. Some good stories in there. Now moving along over to Thor, or Hint of Riches, they had actually their contest that I talked about 2 weeks ago that was actually a wanted poster contest. Very interesting contest. I believe it's been closed for now, but the thread is still up. You can go in there and kind of look at some of the entries that were posed. There's definitely some good stuff. Some guys got some tremendous skills as far as putting together, and photoshopping these things. So definitely go check it out and maybe throw in a vote or something if you can. Now, moving along to some of the YouTube channels, I'm going to start off with Pam, our mellow yellow FenTuber. But she had a couple of new short videos, one titled Hebgen and Earthquake Lakes. Some interesting talk about some areas up there in the Northern Territories. But she also had a video about the double omegas that we all like to talk about. So you might go check out Rambling Pam's YouTube channel and see what she's got to say on there. Now moving over to Man Alone. Man Alone put up a few new videos this week. One was titled Trips versus Economy, speaking about gas money, I believe. And then also his interpretation of Marvel Gaze. And another one about poetry rules versus grammar. And, me being a poem purist, I thought this was a pretty good one. You might go check it out. But that's the one that I really liked of all three of Man Alone's this week. Now moving over to Fenn Treasure Hunter. Fenn Treasure Hunter had a few videos that came out. He actually tried his hand out on live videos. I think he did a pretty good job, talking to his people that were chatting in the live chat. And he answered some questions as well. You might go check that out. Very, very well done. And he also had a video titled Smoking Gun. And this video was very good. He did a really good job about describing how he interprets the subtle hints in the book. And he also did a series on how to read a topographical map. So you might go check that out if you don't understand how to read a topographical map. You're going to get it straight from a guy who does that a lot. So you might go check out his videos. Now moving over to Why Must I Go, Troy Barlow. He has done a few videos these last couple weeks. One was, Does the Poem Tell Two Stories? And he goes in there about talking about Forrest Fenn's Vietnam experiences. And he also did a video about diagramming the poem using grammar. He kind of breaks down the first stanza a little bit using grammar, taking us all back to grade school, I can tell you that for sure. And then also, he did a video on a possible way to find the hints in the book. So a good video there. You might go check it out as well. Next is The Odious Soul, Shannon Oots. She did a video that was immediately following her A Gypsy's Kiss appearance, where she answered some questions that she saw in the chat room. And I thought was really good of her to go back and review some of the questions you all asked that did not get asked during the live view. So go check out that video. But she also did an interesting video titled What Is It? And obviously the it in the poem. And she did a good breakdown of what she believes it means and did it in a couple of different ways. Definitely a good video if you're interested in hearing about that. And then she did another video titled The Zone of Death. And this was about, kind of a disputed land up there in Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. You might go check that out. Definitely an interesting video. And as always, Shannon does an amazing job. Now moving on to Wild Bill Gorman, our favorite elephant in the room. And the thing I love about Bill is he does most of his videos live. And I really like that because you just get a raw experience from Bill, and he just, he shoots from the hip, and you get what you get with Bill. Definitely an interesting character, but go check out his videos. And I just love listening to him. I keep threatening Bill that I'm going to come over there and just show up one day and we'll do a live video together. Next is, I'm going to move on to Rodney Greenway. Rodney recently, these last couple weeks, has put out two videos. One, he actually did kind of an introduction video telling us all about how he got into the chase and a little bit about himself. I'm glad he did that. I kind of wish all the FenTubers would do that and put out a video really introducing themselves. I know Shannon did a good job, and Rodney as well. You did a great job putting out yours. Thank you for that. And next is R.F. Heckley, also known as Susan. Susan had the last couple of weeks did kind of a sobering video of her returning from her eyes on the ground experience. And Shannon, I can admit we all understand where you're coming from. We've all been there. So we enjoyed your video. And she also, she does a really good job of kind of an unedited experience from a searcher, and talking very openly and frank. I really like watching her videos. So if you haven't watched hers, go check her out. Next, I want to go on to Men Are So Smart. They did another episode, number 248, and it was What We Know to Be Facts. And this was kind of a rehashing of all those things that have been mentioned on Dal Neitzel's site, but they kind of went over every one of them in a video. It's kind of good because it rehashes it back in your mind and hearing it from some others. I think they made some pretty naive initial assumptions, which is something we all do, and you'll catch it in their video. And but I thought they did a good job. These guys are coming around and talking about the Fenn treasure hunt, and I like listening to them. I call them my Bert and Ernie, but definitely a couple interesting guys that you might want to go out and listen to. Now, I want to talk about a couple of new FenTubers that have shown up here recently, and the first one is a gentleman by the name of Mark Chatham. And Mark, please correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but he's got a few videos out there, and one of them is titled "Too Far to Walk." Gives kind of his interpretation, very interesting little interpretation, talking about the long ride home chapter. And referring it a little bit to Forrest Fenn's, too far to walk as potentially being a distance. Now, he also does a Montana solution. This is kind of a two-parter on his solution up in Montana. You might go check those out. And the last one I thought was really interesting is where he takes the word dumb in the book and uses it as a place marker for what might be the potential hints in the book. I thought that was the most interesting one. If you know me, I'm not big on the hints in the book, but I thought he did a good job of explaining what he thinks are the hints and, as how Forrest Fenn might place a place marker in that is for using the word dumb. So very good job, Mark. Welcome to the YouTube universe, and hopefully we can get some people to go over there and check out your videos and definitely subscribe and like his videos, folks. So, and the next one is a gentleman by the name of Phil Jennings, and his channel is called Too Far to Walk. And again, he's a new FenTuber, but he does a couple of really good introduction videos, and then he also does a video on Hint of Riches New and Old and his interpretations of that. So Phil, we again want to welcome you as well to the FenTuber community, and folks, go check out his channel, subscribe if you like him, and like him as well. And let's bring him into the FenTube community. Well, everybody, that's it for this weekend's update. I'm Sean Dotson with The Flip Side. I hope that you liked this video. If you have, please ensure to like it, and don't forget to subscribe. And last but not least, don't forget to thank those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. And for those of you who are about to rock, we salute you. Rock on. And we will catch you all on the flip side.